Howdy, guys, and welcome to Cliff Notes, and welcome to a recap of Survivor Season 43's episode number 3. I had so much fun watching the episode last night. I went to Bryce and Wendell's Survivor Watch Party here in Houston. We had all kinds of Survivor folks there. Ozzy and Ben and Karishma. The list goes on and on. So much fun watching this episode with so many other people. So, pardon the voice, but it was worth it. All right, let's talk about Survivor episode 3. They're into day 6. So much has already happened. There is no rest for Survivor. They pack a lot of stuff going into those 29 days. So let's get right into it. Remember that last week we lost Justine from the red tribe, the Vesey tribe. So the blue tribe, Coco, is still starting off with their original 6 members. But we've got 5 missing from Vesey. We've got 5 missing from the Yellow Tribe as well. Let's see what happens tonight. All right. So first of all, as I mentioned, Justine has left the tribe. The other thing that's big on this one, Cody has the idol. He was able to get the beats from everyone else. And remember, on the Yellow Tribe, we also have Gabler with a short-term idol, and that's going to come into play this evening. But we do have a couple of people with some advantages out there that we're going to talk about. As we actually start up the episode, we see a little bit of a recap of Cody getting those beats from everyone else. I kind of like this twist. It takes a lot of social work to work with everyone else to get those beats. So I enjoyed watching that. But we see a recap of that. We also have Jesse expressing some concern about Dwight. Remember, Jesse and Dwight just weren't on the same page last week about who needed to go. Dwight did not have a vote. Jesse did. Jesse got his way. Justine went out the door. Dwight's still not really happy with that. And Jesse's talking about saying, look, at the end of the day, we're island husband, wife, and all that. But I think he had the tagline of the evening. I'll sign the divorce papers if I need to. If he has to go, he has to go. So we've seen some bonds forming in this, the Red Tribe, but maybe they are the tightest bonds that we've ever seen. So we've got him talking about that. And it does seem like Jesse and Cody and Nneka are a pretty tight little group of 3 based on last week's vote. So it's interesting. Jesse's in a pretty good spot. He still has this connection with Dwight, but he's also got this core group of Cody and Nneka alongside him. So he's protected from a lot of different fronts, considering there are only 5 of them on this tribe. But we do have Jesse talking about that. Noelle's talking as well. She's realizing that she very well could be on the bottom. She was blindsided by last week's vote. She lost Justine, who was kind of her tightest person in this tribe. She's talking to Dwight saying, look, can we trust Jesse? I thought we had something going, and now maybe not so much. And she's realizing her place in the tribe right now, that something has to be done. She does tell Dwight, says, look, at this point, it's you and me. Let's try to work with Jesse, but you and me, we got to work together, which she needs to do since she lost Justine. She needs to find her big power person to be working with. And Dwight lost his vote last week, but now that's gone. Dwight's back to full power, full speed. So it really does seem like on this tribe, we've got a group of 3 in Cody, Nneka, and Jesse, and then a group of 2 in Justine, in Noelle and Dwight. So we'll see what happens. All right. Let's scoot on over to another tribe. Let's go on over to the Baka tribe, which is the Yellow Tribe. They immediately showed Gabler sleeping on the beach, and there's talk that maybe he's not doing so well. He's winded. We saw last episode, there was certainly a lot of talk that he's a big guy. He just didn't get the nutrition he needs, that he's just feeling a little hard to struggle through everything. Yeah, maybe. I mean, it's day 6. So if you're not getting food, I certainly can relate and empathize with Gabler. But I do wonder how much of this is absolutely valid and how much it's just the shot of, let's get him while he's sleeping on the beach. We don't know, but we do see Gabler apparently not doing too well, a little bit exhausted. And the rest of the group, remember, they're down to 5 tribe mates as well. The other 4, I think, at least the ladies are saying that they're wondering if maybe it's time for Gabler to go, if he can't pull his weight. Maybe he's extended his stay just a little bit. And we've got Elle and Sammy and Janine all wondering about Gabler and this idol he got. Remember, he got the idol by going to the island week before last and risking his vote, and it paid off for him. Did not pay off for Dwight. but it paid off for Gabler. And remember, on that island also was Kara, who did not risk her vote, was playing very conservatively. That comes into play this evening. So Gabler had risked his vote. He has an immunity idol as a result of it, but there was some question last week about whether that idol extended through two tribal councils of any tribe or are two tribal councils for this particular tribe, which it turns out that's the case based on Janine going through his bag, reading the rules, and realizing that he still has protection through one more tribal council. But Ellie and Sammy and Janine are all wondering if Gabler knows that he still has this idol in his pocket, or if he thinks that maybe it expired now that the island has had two tribal councils. So they think that they're going to try to find out. And Ellie is going to ask Gabler as subtly as she can and as sneakily as she can. She's going to ask him because she says she thinks she's probably tighter with Gabler than anyone else, which seemed to really surprise Sammy. I think Sammy thought that he had the connection, that it probably was with more him should be asking it, but Ellie says, no, I'm tight with him. I'll do it. And Janine says, yeah, Ellie's tighter with Gabler. Let him do it. Again, it really seemed to surprise Sammy. The littlest things said on these islands can affect you. And I feel like after that, maybe Sammy's questioning just what his connections are, or at least what the ladies think his connection maybe is going to be. So she's going to ask Gabler about that. But almost immediately, well, the very next scene, we see Sammy going right to Gabler and saying, hey, look, first of all, is your idol still valid? And Gabler says, well, yeah, it's still valid. I get it through one more tribal council. So he has confirmed to Sammy that, yes, he is aware that the power is there. Now, what would have happened if he'd said, yeah, no, I think it's already expired? If he'd said that, Sammy maybe would have just kept his mouth shut at this point. But the fact that Gabler knows that the idol's valid, the fact that Gabler still has the power of that immunity idol, I think led Sammy to immediately join up with Gabler, or at least protect his own self as much as he can, because he immediately tells Gabler, says, well, they all know that it's valid because they looked through your bag last episode, a couple of days ago. They looked through your bag, Gabler, to make sure that thing is still valid. And it seems like, if I recall, Janine's the one who actually went through his bag, but somehow the blame gets passed on to Ellie as the primary person that was responsible for this, more so than Janine. And I'm not sure that Sammy knows which of the two went through the bag, because I don't think he was there. Owen was there. And maybe it's just a game of telephone. But anyway, he has told Gabler, said, yeah, they went through your bag. They know that your idol is good for another tribal council that we serve. And so now Gabler doesn't like that. Gabler's saying, well, there you go. Now I know who I can trust, who I can't trust. Later, they're mentioning to Owen as well. It's really doing a good job of pulling the three guys together on this tribe. Remember, we only have two women left, because they lost Mariah. I think there's Mariah's who they lost from this tribe. So two ladies left and the three guys. Well, especially because now they're blaming going through the bag on the two ladies. It's pulling these three guys together. Not looking good for Ellie and Justine as a result of it, because they're all kind of laughing about it. Owen tells us to the camera's confessional, saying, yeah, I got to kind of play it cool because I was there while they're looking through the bag, but I'm not telling them that. I'll blame it on the ladies. I don't want anything to do with it. So he is aware of what happened and has joined in with the other two guys. We do see, after all of this has happened, they're aware that the girls went through his bag and all that, and what's going on. We see just a little bit later in the next scene, Justine actually suggesting to Gabler that his idol is no longer valid. She just throws out there as, yeah, now that your idol's not valid, what are you going to do with it? Or, can I have it? I don't remember what was said, but throwing it out there that's no longer valid. And Gabler playing along. He didn't call him out for going through his bag. He said, yeah, I don't know. My daughter wants a necklace or a bracelet, so I'm going to save it, make it a bracelet. But very much making it seem like he doesn't think it's valid anymore either. At which point we see Justine and Ellie kind of celebrating that he doesn't know about it, that they achieved their intelligence mission, that he doesn't have that protection. He doesn't think. So they're very excited. They don't know they're getting played. They don't know that this may come back and bite them at some point. Oh, it makes me really look forward to the next tribal council for Yellow, because they're gonna. He may pull his thing. He's got to use it next tribal council. That's the last time this immunity idol is valid. So they may be gunning for him and he's going to be protected. It's going to be fun, tribal council. So we've got that going on with the Yellow Tribe. So let's talk about our final tribe. We haven't seen as much press or conversation about the Blue Tribe, and it's because they're doing so well. They still have 6 tribe mates. Coco Tribe is their name. Still have 6 tribe mates left, so they haven't really been tested by tribal council yet. And sure enough, we see them on the island, on the beach, at their beach, celebrating James's birthday, just seeming like they don't have a care in the world. It's easy to do when you haven't been to tribal, when you haven't been forced to reveal alliances, bonds, connections, etc. So they seem very chill at this point in time. But there is some discussion about looking for idols and the fact that no one has been off looking for idols because everyone else is going to be suspicious if anyone takes off on their own. I wonder if this is one of those tribes. As soon as someone gets up and goes anywhere, everyone else is watching. It could be because they're saying, well, just can't really go looking for the idol. If you do, we're all going to not trust you that much. Everyone is scared to go out and look for it, except for Kara. And Kara identifies, I think maybe just the discussion they had makes her think a little bit about it. At one point, I think three or four of the tribe mates are out on the water, fishing, looking for food and all of that. James is asleep back in camp, which leaves Kara all by herself. So she takes off up to the watering hole, I guess, and is looking around. Sure enough, right over her head is one of those beware advantages. It makes me wonder, how many times have they passed underneath that tree and not seen it? Or did the beware advantage just show up in the last 30 minutes above this branch? We don't know. We'll never know. But I thought she was going to miss it. Eventually, she looks up. She notices this beware advantage. You maybe it had something to do with the cameraman pointing his camera up towards the branch. I don't know. That's just the cynic in me. But she discovers the beware advantage. Now, the big question, does she open it? Because there is a penalty that comes along with whatever advantage comes along with it. Remember last week, we saw Cody. He didn't hesitate. He opened it and almost burned his game. He had to quickly get the beats from everyone else. Well, Kara decides that it's just not worth it, that she's going to leave it alone. She's worried about the beware part of it. She heads back to camp. Now, I think this says something about her gameplay. This wasn't an isolated incident. Remember that she went to the island previously. She is the one person out of the 3. Gabler risked his vote. Dwight risked his vote. She didn't risk her vote. I think Kara is just a very risk-adverse person in the way she's playing this game. She doesn't want to make waves, so she's left the beware advantage alone, which I'm sure just killed the producers that it wasn't being used. But she heads back to camp. But it's like the Garden of Eden and the apple. You can only resist temptations so long. She starts talking to James, saying, if you found something like that, would you open it? And James is saying, well, you got to take some risk when you're playing for $1 million and all that. I really was wondering if she was going to tell James that this thing was here and let him go take the risk, and maybe just hope that she had some protection by telling him. But no, it doesn't. She goes back. She opens up her beware advantage, and it turns out that it's just like the one that Cody opened up last week. She's going to get an immunity idol if she can get the beads from everyone else on her tribe, the special beads, put them together to make an immunity bracelet. So again, it's just like Cody, except she's got a little bit more time. Cody did it right before tribal council. Blue tribe, we haven't even had the immunity challenge, so she's got plenty of time. She starts working her magic. It works. Congratulations to her. She got beads from everyone. The last one, I think Ryan was a little tougher, but she talked Ryan into it. She told everyone she's making beads for her, I think her daughter, or her wife. I can't remember who it was, but she was making it as a gift, and she traded her earrings, some of her beads. She made it work. So now we've got another immunity idol in play. So with that being said, let's move on to this immunity challenge and figure out who's going to tribal this week. It's another water-based challenge. Everyone has to leap off the tower into the water, climb crates, go back into the water, dive down to get a key. Once 3 players because one person's sitting out, so it's 5 people competing per tribe. So once 3 players have gone in and retrieved their keys, the last 2 use those keys to unlock pieces of a turtle puzzle, a big on the ground type puzzle. Put it together. They win immunity. They also win a whole bunch of fruit, which they got to be appreciative of, and a toolkit to work with as well. So we start the competition off. Yellow team with the early lead, blue team in the rear. You don't normally see that. The blue team's been kind of dominant this season a little bit. But eventually we see the Baka tribe just dominate, the yellow tribe, dominate on the puzzle. They've won the competition. The big question, who's coming in second? It looks like the red tribe, the Vesey tribe, is started the puzzle early enough. You've got NECA and Jesse working on the puzzle. It just doesn't work out for them because before you know it, the blue tribe is caught up. They've solved the puzzle as well, which means Vesey tribe, the red tribe's going to tribal 2 episodes in a row, not weeks, two tribals in a row. We're going to see the red team going from 6 all the way down to 4. NECA and Jesse just could not solve this puzzle. Now it's interesting. We did see one person had to sit out, and if I recall, it was Ryan sitting on the bench. He's seen enough of the past Survivor episodes. He's looking everywhere, trying to find if there's some kind of hidden immunity idol or something there. Not this season, Ryan, but he certainly made the effort. So we've got Vesey going to tribal yet again. But one little extra thing to take care of before that happens. The yellow tribe, as the winners, get to pick one person from each tribe to go on an adventure. They end up picking Noel from the red tribe, James from the other tribe, from the blue tribe, and Owen from their own tribe. So those 3 are going to get on a boat and go somewhere. We're pretty sure it's the island that the Gabler and Dwight and Kara went to before, right? Well, it turns out that's exactly where they're going. So before we see that, we see NECA very upset about losing this tribal, as she should be. Not only because they're going from 5 to 4, you think they're losing 20% of their tribe when this happens, but because she was the person doing the puzzle alongside Jesse, she's feeling very personally responsible. I don't care how personally responsible you're feeling. You can't talk about it and everyone else. It just paints a target on your back, but she's feeling bad about it. We do have also Cody talking to Jesse, saying, look, we got to stay strong. We're losing someone else, but we got to make sure that we're protected. We're safe. And he's talking to Jesse about the fact that maybe NECA is the one that needs to go home. He's saying, we got this group of the 3 of us. We're tied. I wanted to run with her from the start. He said, but maybe it's a little bit premature because she just didn't get it done at this competition, and we've got to stay strong. He's basically saying strength of the tribe is more important at this point than relationships are. I'm not sure that I completely agree with that. You're down to 4 people. If you lose one more immunity challenge, you're down to 3. You're going to have some kind of tribal swap or merge or something take place if that's the case. So with that in mind, I almost feel like it's most important to protect your position in the game than necessarily protect your tribe overall. But I get what he's saying. I don't think it's wrong. I just think priority, if I was out there, my priority maybe would be do what I could to protect the bonds that I've established. I think the bonds are more important than the tribes, which we know are going to be changing before too long. But he's saying, look, if we've got to get rid of NECA, then so be it. We already heard Jesse saying, hey, if I got to get rid of Dwight, then, sign a divorce paper. So they're willing to do what it takes to protect their position and to protect the strength of the tribe itself. So they've got that. They're deciding that maybe eventually, as they talk, they say, well, maybe we're not there yet. Maybe we need to just stick with NECA, go after Noel. She's not part of our little group of 3, and there you go. Meanwhile, let's go back to the island. The 3, one person from each tribe, have met at the island. They have to travel, get to know each other, travel over, find out what the challenge is. And as it turns out, just like before, they each have to decide whether to risk their vote or protect it and save it. If they save it, nothing happens one way or the other. They go back to their tribe. If they risk their vote, if only one person risks it, that person gets some kind of reward. If more than one person risk it, then they random draw. Whoever risk it and doesn't win the advantage loses their vote when they get back to camp. Well, last time we had 2 of the 3 risk their votes, so Dwight paid the price by losing his vote. This time they decide to work together. I think it's a fantastic idea, especially as you're starting to reduce the numbers of each of these tribes. Again, you got to know that tribal swap of some sort is getting ready to happen at one point. So at some point coming up. So the 3 of them are saying, look, let's work together. Let's keep an eye out for each other. And rather than any of us losing our vote, eventually we have James and Owen tell Noelle, say, look, you're going to tribal. You need this a lot more than we do. So we're both going to not risk our vote. Guarantee that you have an advantage, that you're safe. And in exchange, somewhere down the road, let's make sure we work together. Let's watch out for each other. So these three have an agreement across tribal lines. I think that may pay off somewhere down the road. I think that's pretty smart. Noelle has won the advantage. We don't know what it is yet until she gets back to camp. We didn't see it, but I wonder what James and Owen told everyone when they got back to camp, because everyone's got to be looking at him saying, did you risk your vote? Did you win it or whatever? Maybe because they're not going to tribal, they're not so concerned about it in the tribes. We didn't see it happen. I think if I'm James or Owen, I'm flat out saying, look, Noelle really seemed to need it. She seemed nice enough. We let her take the advantage. If I'm one of those their tribe mates, I don't know if I believe them or not, but I think if I'm James or Owen, that's what I'm saying. But we don't know what they said. What we do know is that Noelle did come back to her tribe and said, look, it's too important. I couldn't risk my vote. There's no way I'm going to risk my vote when we're going to tribal and there's only 5 of us voting. So I didn't risk it. Nothing's changed one way or the other. I think everyone bought it, probably, maybe. At tribal, there was some concern expressed saying, we don't really know whether she's got an advantage or not. But she's lied through her teeth, told the tribe, said, yeah, I didn't risk it. I don't have any kind of advantage. But she does tell Dwight. These two figuring they're both on the bottom. So she tells Dwight, she opens up the advantage in front of him, reads it. It's pretty strong power. It's not immunity. In some ways, it's almost better. It seems like not only, she didn't lose her vote, but not only does she get to steal someone else's vote, but then she gets to cast that vote as she chooses to. So it's kind of a 2-for-1. She gets to take the voting power away from someone else and then cast that vote as though it was her own. So when you've got 5 people voting and you control 2 of the votes, pretty dang strong. With Dwight there, they've realized that the 2 of them is all the power it needs. They can control this next tribal. They can choose whether to send someone else out. Now, I did notice I had to go back and read the little clue, see how long this lasts. Remember, Gabler's only lasts for 2 tribal councils. Hers lasts until there's 7 people left in the game. So this is a long-term power that Noelle has, and a strong power it is. All right, so on to tribal. Is she going to use it or not? Excuse me. I'm still trying to recover from all the talking last night at that watch party. On to tribal, we've got Jeff Probst pointing out that there's really a decision to be made. Is your priority make your tribe strong, protect your relationships, make your tribe as strong as possible while also protecting your relationships? I think Jesse's the one that says, well, we're trying to do both, Jeff, as much as we can. There's talk about how confident people are in their votes. Jesse and Cody and NECA are all saying, 9.5, 9, extremely certain. That's got to make Noelle and Dwight feel very uncomfortable, right? If they are so on board with it, yeah, I'd be nervous. I'd certainly be nervous if I was them. But it comes time to vote, and Noelle, if she's going to use her power, it's not sick. I would love to see this as a secret power. Think how great it may have been if Noelle didn't have to tell anyone she was using this power. She just got to steal someone's vote, cast it as her own. No one finds out afterwards. Potentially, then you've got Dwight and you've got Jesse and Cody each blaming the other one for changing their vote, and they're both innocent, but they don't know it because of power. That would be kind of cool as well. It doesn't happen in this particular power. Noelle has to tell everyone that she's stealing a vote and casting it as her own before the voting occurs. She doesn't do it. Now, that's a level of confidence that amazes me. She had already told Jeff previously that she only was about a 5 out of 10 in terms of her confidence factor. Is that truly the case, or are they all just spinning this for the actual target? Well, it turns out maybe that was the case, because when it comes time to the vote, we see 1 vote cast for Noelle, which came from NECA, 1 vote cast for NECA, which came from Noelle, another vote cast for NECA, another vote cast for NECA, and as it turns out, yet another vote cast for NECA. Yeah, NECA is out of the tribe. It is a unanimous vote. The other 4 voted against her to send her out. So basically, the decision was made to protect the strength of the tribe as opposed to protecting bonds, etc. I mean, think about this. If they had sent out Noelle, you would have had Cody and NECA and Jesse, a strong group of 3. You would have still then had Dwight is an easy out target to head out the door if you go to tribal again before some kind of tribal swap, etc. You really would have strengthened that group of three. Instead, yeah, maybe you help the tribe a little bit from a strength standpoint, but now you basically have Jesse and Cody on one side. You've got Noel and Dwight on another side. Instead of 3 versus 1, you now have 2 versus 2. I'm just curious to see how this plays out as we go forward in this game. But they have sent out NECA. Now, the other thing, too, the fact that Noel did not use her power tells me she had to know ahead of time. There had to be conversations that took place. It will probably see him next week. Conversations had to take place with Cody and Jesse where they assured her and Dwight that y'all are safe. We're sending out NECA. You got to trust us. And they did. It's a huge level of trust that Noel showed to not use her advantage. She could have gone home with that advantage in her pocket, which would absolutely kill me if I was in her place. She didn't do it. She obviously trusts them. I have a feeling it has something to do with Dwight and Jesse. There's still a level of trust there. Jesse probably convinced Dwight that they weren't sending out him or Noel. Dwight then was able to convince Noel. It worked to their advantage. She still has the power. Dwight knows about it, but the other two don't, which puts them in a very dangerous position. If we go to another tribal council, she can use that vote. She can easily send Cody or Jesse out the door. She actually can steal one of their votes. They can, between her and Dwight, they can split votes, guarantee that they stick around for just a little bit longer. So, yeah, fantastic episode. We did lose. We did lose NECA, though. It's 3 women in a row. Got to be making some people a little bit nervous that are watching of the female gender, right? It would me, I think. But yeah, we've lost them. The bigger issue, perhaps, is the fact that now we've got 1 tribe of 6, 1 tribe of 5, 1 tribe of 4. Next challenge, that Coco tribe's gonna have to sit out 2 people. Things are gonna have to change here pretty quick. We'll see how it works out. Fantastic episode as always. A lot of fun to watch, and especially a lot of fun to watch it with a whole big old group of Survivor fans as well. So had a blast last night, guys. You enjoy your rest of your Wednesday. I'll see y'all next week for episode 4. We'll see what the repercussions were for everything that took place this week. I think Gabler's still a little chapped about people going through his bag. So we'll see what happens over on the Yellow Tribe as well. Guys, y'all have a fantastic week. Until next Wednesday, cheers, my friends. SKD 143